And the lady behind the counter would say, honey, your skin is so dry. It's so sallow. And by the way, your nose is too big. Let me, change it. Like I hated all that. And when I started my company 30 something years ago, I started with a lipstick that looked like lips. So for me, everything is practical thinking, problem solution.
What's up, y'all? It's Tiko Texas here with Token CEO Erika. It's Thursday, October 14th, episode 185. This is the Token CEO podcast presented by Sports Research.
We should have Tiko do every introduction.
Seriously.
Okay, Tiko, do you exercise?
No.
Ever?
No.
How are you so skinny?
I played high school sports.
Great. There's just that the exercise back in the 80s,
and
90s
I don't have any
just
kids.
stayed with you. Okay, that'll do it too.
Exactly.
Okay,
You already
Tiko.
know.
Well, if you feel like exercising,
Yes.
you can go to sportsresearch.com. Have you ever heard of them?
I've heard of them, yes.
Yes, because you
Yeah.
can get collagen there. You can get vitamins there.
What?
You can get an at-home workout kit, Tiko.
Seriously?
Yep, let's go.
Wow,
You go to
that's so convenient.
Very convenient,
Yeah,
right?
from
Just
your
right
home?
from your home or your
That's
phone. You can
awesome.
get everything. Go to sportsresearch.com. You can add your favorite products to your basket. Use code Erika at checkout for 25% off.
That's awesome.
Do you like a discount, Tiko?
I love a discount.
Okay.
You know that. I love the 5-finger discount, all the discounts.
All right. So that's for today's episode. Okay.
Yes.
So I'm obviously here with Tiko Texas. Tiko, don't give us a White Sox Dave. Give us the 30-second pitch on who you are.
Okay. I'm Tiko motherfucking Texas. You know what it is. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a musician. I'm an actress, a model, and a writer. And also a new full-time hire at Barstool motherfucking Sports. Let's go. Yeah. I'm the new bitch at Barstool. That's what's going on. Don't play with me. I'm here to take over. Why you think I'm next to the Token CEO? Don't play. But no, I'm just a cool, chill, sports loving, music loving, culture loving, woman empowered type of female.
That's great. I love that. So Tiko is here. We're doing headlines together.
Yes, ma'am.
We've got a special episode. We've got Bobbi Brown. Do you know Bobbi Brown?
I love Bobbi Brown.
Bobbi Brown is on this episode today.
Whitney Houston's ex-husband?
Oh, no, the makeup artist. Do you know her? Do you ever wear her makeup?
Oh, Bobbi Brown, the makeup.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because I'm not going to lie. I didn't know she was Caucasian.
She is.
Because she tends to it's a black community.
Oh, really? The
They're
black
really-
community
yeah,
likes
they're
Bobbi
real-
Brown?
Yeah, they love Bobbi.
She's
We love Bobbi
amazing.
Brown.
Yeah, I love her too. She's
Yeah,
amazing.
so I just
think
found out
everybody
she's
loves
Caucasian.
her. Yeah,
so
she's
that's cool.
Caucasian. All right.
She was kind of hiding it a little bit, I think, but that's that's marketing. That's cool. That's
fine.
all. It's all part of the money.
That's
Post
our-
Malone did it too. So
Yep. Okay.
all
So
good.
anyway, she's joining us. I think she's like the most practical person I've ever met.
Can I get some makeup?
I have like boxes of her makeup. She has
Okay,
a new
awesome.
she has a new company called Jones Road, which you would like. They have this stick called the hippie stick. You're not really a hippie, but you can like spread it all over your face and it hydrates you. Do you have dry
That's so
skin?
cool. A little bit.
Okay.
Sometimes,
Well,
yeah.
I'll get you a hippie stick.
Yes, I would love a hippie stick.
Before we get to Bobbi Brown, we are going to do headlines.
Okay.
Then we're doing a Q&A.
Okay.
And then after Bobby, we have an adulting segment. So Tiko, you're here for me. You're here with me for headlines. Are you
Yes,
ready?
I am.
Sorry, I
am
have
ready.
your notes.
No, it's all good. I got
Okay.
you, baby.
All right. So John Gruden resigns. Do you know about
Yes.
this story?
I do know about this story.
Okay. What did
yeah.
John Gruden do?
He had homophobic and misogynist remarks. He actually also made kind of some racist remarks too.
Yep.
And it was all before he was a head coach. It was when he was still an analyst with ESPN.
Tico,
So,
excellent job.
Thank you so much.
Okay, that was a great
Thank
headline.
you. Thank you.
So John Gruden, not great. He shit on Roger Goodell. We don't hate that. Anthem protests. He shit on the women referee. He was making fun of the head of the NFLPA, making, I feel, some horrible comments on that.
How did ESPN even let him do all this? Why is this just now coming out? Why isn't this coming out 10 years ago already?
Great question, Tico. Here's how it came together. So the NFL has been conducting a workplace investigation. When
Wow.
Gruden was a analyst for ESPN, he
Yes.
was emailing these racial slurs,
Oh, wow.
homophobic comments, shitting on women. So he was emailing it to the head coach of the Washington football team at the time. So then the emails get leaked. The New York Times gets them. Gruden clearly hears about it and resigns immediately for not wanting to be a distraction.
I saw that.
Here is my question for you, Tico. So one, not permissible, not acceptable. Gruden should be fired. He clearly did himself a favor by resigning. But What do you think about people going that far back into your past, looking at things you've done and using it to punish you now? Do you have an opinion on that?
I do have an opinion, but I feel like I don't know, it's a rock and a hard place because yes, it was 10 years ago. He was a lot less mature, a lot less emotionally intelligent, a lot less aware, but it's like we can't really excuse, going against black people, having
Black
homophobic,
people, women.
like it's just, you can't really excuse it too much because you're not gonna be able to find no tweets of me really just going crazy against women or going crazy towards, and I'm still young, so I'm not gonna give him too much leg room because I'm gonna need you to, you're in a position, you're doing an email as an ESPN analyst to an NFL head coach. You got to know that these are watched and these are recorded. Like this ain't a conversation. It's different if it was a conversation that was recorded and then it got leaked. I would give him a little bit more link because we all say things in private that we don't really say in public. But an email, you just didn't give a fuck because that's a paper trail.
Also,
baby.
so interesting what the ESPN and NFL culture must have been at the time, where he was so comfortable to email that. Like, exactly. That's fucked up.
That's crazy.
I'm
not gonna lie.
It's crazy. All right. Speaking of
you
things,
lost your job and you deserve it. Sorry.
All right. So speaking of dirt, do you follow hockey?
I do. I like Spick and Chicklets. Actually, I know that they're coming up here on Friday.
Are you going to be here for that?
Man, I want to meet them.
You're going to mix it up with Wit and Biz.
I want to. Yeah.
Okay, they're great. You'd be great with them.
They make me like hockey.
Okay, great.
Because hockey is a little bit, it's cool. It's better than baseball, right? Because at least they beat each other up.
Yeah, I agree. There's some violence. We like violence,
cool.
Tiko.
That's cool.
All right, speaking of things so you're not going to like, the NHL is the only league that doesn't have any
woman officials. Yes.
You did your
I'm telling you, I could not believe this. I really, really don't like that. I'm not going to lie.
So in the progress, I guess, it's 2021. Katie Gray is going to be the first woman to officiate an AHL game.
Shout out Katie Gay. Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, Katie Gay. I'm going to have you do this more often, Tiko.
Yes, you got to.
She is going to officiate on October 16th. So the first time a woman has officiated an AHL game will happen this fall, which is amazing. The NHL director of officiating, Stephen Walcombe, has stepped up recruiting more officials, including women, into the talent pool. That feels like kind of a bullshit statement. They should hustle that up. Yeah,
exactly. Including women. Like, what? What does that mean? Like,
there's only what is that?
Like, what?
Yeah. What is that? All right. So here's to more women officiating, right?
Yes, 100%. I hate that men don't respect women in sports. And that's why
Why do you think it is?
It's a man's world, but especially in the sports world, it's definitely a man's world. And I feel like in sports, men look at women like we don't know what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, we don't want a woman referee who's going to make bad calls and get emotional and be on their period and stuff. It's just dumb, but these are the reasons that they have on not wanting women in sports. And guess what the fuck is happening? Women is in sports and we're here to stay. Shout out Katie Gray. Let's fucking do it, baby. You got my support. I'm watching you on October 16th, and I hope everybody else is too. Let's support her.
That's great.
Let's support women in sports.
All right, let's do a watch party, Tiko. I can't wait to do that with you. That'd be amazing.
With some drinks. I love it. I love it. It's going to be so fun.
I can't wait. All right, Tiko. Next up, Dave Chappelle. I love Dave Chappelle. I love Dave Chappelle. Also, I have to give shout out to Netflix. The branding on Dave Chappelle
I love it.
Is amazing.
I love it.
So why is it? So Netflix is getting a ton of shit. Yeah. There's been a Netflix employee that apparently snuck into a meeting and is criticizing Netflix for allowing the Dave Chappelle special to air.
Yeah.
So internal critics and external critics, people on the internet, said that a lot of the comments, or many comments that Chappelle made during the special, were transphobic. Netflix employees, similar to Spotify employees, are getting all sorts of pissed off that Netflix is airing the special. Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos basically said, hey, motherfuckers, this is the most popular show we have on Netflix right now. We believe in free speech. We believe in comedy. We believe in Chappelle.
Exactly.
We don't believe in crossing the line.
Exactly.
We don't believe in inciting violence. And so we're going to continue to air the special.
Yeah. And he's a comedian, so he can say the things that we're thinking, but we can't say because we have to be politically correct. And he's on there and he's able to say these opinions.
I'm going through this with women's hockey right now. So women's hockey hockey. So January of last year, I tried to buy 3 hockey teams.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Ooh,
I know.
You okay. Making
maybe
money.
We'll buy.
Okay, hold on. Let me snuggle up a little closer.
No, they're not expensive. That's the problem with
they're
women's
not?
hockey. No,
Okay.
That's the whole thing on this, Tiko. You could buy 3 women's hockey teams.
You think so?
Yeah, with what I'm paying you.
Okay.
For sure. You just need a better use of your money. Anyways, so I tried to buy these hockey teams.
Okay, and what happened?
There are a bunch of players on the hockey teams, a bunch of women who did not like Barstool Sports. I have no issue with that. Not everybody needs to like Barstool Sports.
Yeah, not everyone's gonna like us for sure.
But then they came out against me. They came out against Barstool Sports. There was a big riot on the internet.
What?
And I fought back, which is you can't fight back anymore. That's my other issue.
Yeah.
Is that people don't want to have a dialogue about things.
Exactly.
And you cannot fight back when you're accused or attacked. And I don't like that either.
Exactly.
And I think the biggest issue, so this is all coming to light in the press in the last week or so. And
they didn't let you get the teams?
No.
Are you serious?
Yes. And the thing the struggle with it is that in order for women's hockey to succeed, you need men and women to watch hockey. Right?
100%.
You got to have male fans. You got to have female fans.
100%.
You got to take whatever fucking fans
you can get
because you don't have any fans.
Exactly.
So you got to find fans. And what's happened?
If I need some fans, Tiko Texas, at me, Tiko 10, please. I need some fans bad. Okay, so just go.
Okay, but you are open to many types of fans.
Yes.
I think the challenge right now in culture is that if you disagree, it means you shouldn't. There's a prevailing opinion that disagreement is bad and dialogue is bad, and that if you don't have the same values and views, and if you haven't been perfect your entire life, you should just be canceled.
And that's fucked up.
Yeah, I think that's fucked up.
Because that's not realistic.
Okay. Okay, so shout out Shalane Flanagan.
Shout out Shalane Flanagan.
Do you know why we're shouting her out, Tiko?
Yeah, she's been running hella marathons.
Marathons.
Oh my gosh, you go, girl.
6 marathons in 6 weeks. Just finished her 4th of the 6. She did the Boston Marathon this week in 2 hours, 40 minutes, and 34 seconds.
Wow.
She did it one day after she completed Chicago. So she ran
crazy.
26 miles in Chicago,
Wow.
got on a plane, flew to Boston, and did it again.
Wow.
Jesus, what a woman, huh?
What a woman.
All right.
We're so powerful. We can do anything, man.
All right. We are just shouting out women today. So,
now,
all right. Ashley Berger.
Let's go. Let's go, Ashley.
All right. Ashley actually listens to the show, so shout
out Ashley. Shout out. Thank you so much for the support.
Yep. Thank you very much. She also completed the Boston Marathon in
awesome.
5 hours and 38 minutes and 43 seconds.
You go, girl.
All right. We're in the Q&A section, Tiko.
Okay.
Hi, Token Team. You're on the Token Team now.
Hey.
What's up? I've got my first work trip coming up. Just me. She's a 23-year-old girl plus 5 guys. Any advice for traveling for work in general, traveling with only men, or traveling internationally where I don't speak the language, especially in a business and technical sense? What's your advice, Tiko?
Don't get too drunk, because I know you have a crush on one of those 5 guys. So one person's going to get picked because you're the only girl on the trip. Like, you're going to get smashed. So just definitely don't drink too much. Okay?
I agree
Focus
with this.
on
That's a
business
good piece
and
of
work.
advice.
And, just keep it friendly with them. Because, on trips with the alcohol, anything can happen.
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
Yep.
So my advice would be, stay
Be
focused.
professional.
Yeah, be professional. Stay focused. Do what you got to do, because you came out there with an objective and just get it done.
Yep, I agree. I used to travel a lot for work internationally when I was
awesome.
about this woman's age.
Okay.
And I was working in Japan, and I think there's just a stereotype that Western women were sluts. So what I would say is it sucks, but there's kind of a stereotype that you're sleeping with one of the 5 guys that you're with, or that you're somehow going to do something wrong. So you got to be super professional.
Exactly.
Got to be very confident.
Exactly.
You got to pack sensibly.
Exactly. You got to pretty much become one of the guys while still being a woman.
Yep, but have your standard and have your boundaries.
Exactly.
And then be confident that you're going to rock your business trip, right?
That's it. Okay.
All right, so we have
got
a video now.
from Jen Hubs.
So I really like my job, but I am stretched really, really thin. I'm in e-commerce marketing and I work at 3 different brands doing all kinds of marketing. And it's to the point where I physically can't handle it all without dropping balls in one area. And I think it's starting to not feel effective or efficient. So I'm looking for advice on how do I have a conversation with my boss to say, hey, I appreciate you giving me these things because you trust me, but at the same time, like, this isn't, one person can't do this.
I relate to this question.
All right, Tiko,
I relate to this
what do you have to
question.
say to Jen? First of all, thank you to Jen for sending us a video.
Yes, thank you, Jen, for wanting our opinion and our advice on something, so serious like that. We appreciate that 100% because obviously that means that you care about our opinion. I would say that, communication, you have to have an open communication with your boss. Like, whatever, because at the end of the day, they want you to be the best employee possible. So it doesn't matter. We think that we give you the work because we think that you can do it. And if if there's a problem, you can't be mad that you're sitting there all fummed up and all sad by yourself and nobody knows, because all your bosses, whenever you give them, whenever they give you work, you're like, okay, cool. Just be like, hey, can I talk to you for just 1 minute real quick? Can I talk to you about what's going on? Because, mental health is very important. And having that self-care thing is very important. And having that energy to do outside of work and the money that you make is very important. So you got to make sure that you put those priorities up. If it's affecting your mental health to the point that you're really stressed out and you're talking to us about it, talk to your boss about it. I guarantee they love you and they're here to support you. And whatever you got to do, even if it's a little steps, it's going to be the steps towards your mental health getting better. And maybe, don't take on so much of a workload, because you can't be mad about you got a big workload if you took it all on. So, it's okay to say no sometimes, It's okay. If it's for your mental health, then do it,
Tiko, best answer ever.
Yes, thank you so much.
Amazing answer.
Thank you.
Way to go, girl.
Thank you so much, Erika.
You are so great. That was great advice. And that was so well put.
Thank you.
All right, my only other advice, I thought that was perfect, Tiko, so I don't have anything to really say. But the only thing I would add is, one, you should hit me up for a job because she sounds amazing. Like, what a heart.
Yeah.
What a heart. The second thing is, sometimes bosses don't really have a handle on how much they've given you. Like,
exactly.
It's like there's this phrase, like, if you need something done, give it to a busy person. Clearly Jen is a busy person, but that she gets shit done. And clearly she's sacrificing herself to do it.
Yep.
So my only advice on top of what Tiko said is to, when you go have the meeting with your boss, which you need to have, is to quantify all that you're doing, not in a way of like, oh, look at me, I work so hard. Oh, I'm so great. Jen's great. But really quantify, hey, here's what we're trying to do. We're trying to grow these 5 brands from this amount of money to that amount of money.
Exactly.
This is what it takes to do that. Here are 2 suggestions for how we could be more efficient in what we do.
Yes.
And here's a recommendation that I have in terms of how we can restructure ourselves so that we can get more done.
Exactly.
I think one of the shitty things sometimes is that bosses really don't care about how you feel personally.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be motivated by that. They don't want to lose you. They want to be happy. But let's face it, the reason Jen's getting all the projects is Jen's better than everybody else.
That's a fact.
So Jen should make a recommendation about how Jen has a bigger team. She has more responsibility.
Exactly.
And she should show leadership in how she could create a better product for the company and create a better strategy.
100%. Wow, that was a really great answer. Erika.
I agree.
I believe it. Be very professional when you talk to your bosses and just
get organized. Don't cry.
Have a solution base. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we can do. This is what I can do to help the company and help myself.
Yep. All right. So last question we have is from Lorenzo, the producer of this podcast.
Shout out Lorenzo. We love Lorenzo.
Shout out Lorenzo. He's a man, but we're going to give a shout out.
Lorenzo.
Shout out Lorenzo. All right, Lorenzo wants to know where we think the biggest growth and areas of opportunity are for content in the digital space. Wow. That's a lofty question. Really nebulous.
Wow.
Okay. Here's my 2 cents of where content is going in the digital space.
Okay.
So in my opinion, media used to be about really 2 things. It was about the format. Was it on the radio? Was it audio, like you only talked? Or was it video? And then the second piece is where content was distributed. So it was about format and distribution. So video was distributed on television, right? Cable or broadcast. Radio was distributed on the radio. And then the internet showed up and like blew that whole fucking thing to pieces. And content kind of became anything and everything everywhere. And what I think the future of content is that basically it's not going to be audio or video or social. It's going to, all of those things are going to bleed together in one. You got to think about how can your content be as interactive as possible, as viral as possible, so that people carry it forward for you. Exactly. And that's what I think the future is. So I think content creators who are thinking about format and a single source of distribution are pretty much screwed. You've got to be constantly thinking about audio. You got to think about video. You got to think about social. You have to think about chat. You have to think about texts and tweets, all those things together. You got to just be like constantly creating.
Exactly.
And I think that's what the future looks like. You should check out JustWorks, Tiko. Have you wanted to have your own business? You kind of are your own business.
Yeah, I am my own business, but I always wanted to have my own business as well, yeah.
All right. So with JustWorks, employees can onboard themselves in minutes with simple software that makes a great first impression. You can give them access to national large group health insurance. Do you have health insurance?
I do now because of Barstool.
Let's go. So what JustWorks does is it gives companies the ability to make that super easy. It probably was a pain in the ass how we did it. And you can access support experts or people or resources 24/7.
That's so cool.
It also makes it easy for people like me and future CEOs like you, Tiko, to hire and manage remote employees across all 50 states.
Yes.
So you can hire people anywhere. They can work from home.
Yes.
You can find out how JustWorks can help your business by
going to justworks.com, and that's justworks.com for more info, baby.
So, speaking of Bobbi Brown.
Bobbi Brown, not the singer.
Not the singer's ex-husband,
the makeup artist,
but the makeup artist.
The Caucasian makeup artist. Nah,
all
we
right.
love you. We love you, Bobbi. No,
I love Bobbi Brown.
I love Bobbi. Send me stuff.
Okay, do you want to? Can I tell you why I love Bobbi Brown?
Because she's brunette.
She is a brunette.
Yeah.
But that's not why.
You
gonna just guess, or am I gonna tell you?
Okay, just tell me.
You can guess. One more guess.
One more guess. She's an alpha woman.
Total alpha woman.
Okay.
But she's like an alpha woman that also is very honest about her insecurities and anxiety and where she is. Like, she's very real. Bobbi Brown created a makeup line, sold it to Estee Lauder 26 years ago.
What?
That makeup line was a massive success. We just talked about that. But she had a 25-year non-compete. Imagine creating something and then you couldn't create something else for 25 years.
Oh my God.
That girl did not lose her fire. And so now she's created another beauty company called Jones Road Beauty, which is incredible. She doesn't believe in any rules. So the makeup can be mixed up. She thinks that you should be able to like live your life, be yourself, look like yourself, but look like the best version of yourself.
Wow.
So when you think you look good and I think I look good, we look kind of different, but we're the best versions of ourselves. And that's what she's endeavoring to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like some inclusivity.
Yeah, that's cool. Right. Okay.
That's really cool.
Okay, I'm obsessed with Jones Road. Obsessed. Aww. Today I put the deodorant stick thing. I mean, I just applied deodorant. It's like applying deodorant to your face. It's the most satisfying thing ever. What's the real name of that product?
It is not deodorant. It's called Hippie Stick. And it's just an emollient moisture. It smells amazing. It is in a container, which is what the lab sent to me to see the product. And I didn't want to put it in a fancy product. I wanted to leave it because it was very hippie-ish to me.
I love it. Honestly, Bobbi, it feels so good on your face. I only wear your products. I truly only wear your products. I think they're so amazing. I cannot, if I could rub oil all over myself and just shine, that'd be so happy. And I feel like your product does that.
Yeah.
Tell us about the brand and the vision and the product.
Sure. So this is my second beauty brand. I'm no longer with Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, which I always want to get clear to people because people don't understand because it's my name. But the new brand is called Jones Road Beauty. It is basically makeup to quickly, easily do your makeup so you look better, not overdone, just the best version of yourself. It's all clean formulas, but they work. The mascara is really black. The pencils are really dense. The eyeshadows are either dense if they're dark or they're transparent if they're shimmery or light. The textures are about looking like beautiful on the skin.
I feel like I watched your masterclass and it was so interesting. I feel like you're big sister that everyone wants but doesn't have. It's like the big sister that can apply makeup and make you look great. You know what I mean? That's how and I think you just have a no nonsense but kind way about you. And what I really liked was you were talking about starting your career and just how makeup made you feel, and how, when you had so much on, you felt like you didn't feel like yourself. And I really relate to that. I feel like if I have a lot of makeup on, or if a makeup artist does my makeup, I actually don't recognize that person, and I don't think she looks good. But what I love about the brand, I also feel like there's no rules to it. Like, you want to put that hippie stick on your arm, like put it on your arm. You want to put it on your nose, put it on your nose. And I think there's something empowering about making women feel like they can look great, but like themselves, and they can do it their way.
Right. To me, it's not about hiring a makeup artist that makes you look better. It's about figuring out yourself, giving yourself the power to make yourself look better any given time, and knowing what to do and having choices. There's many days you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, I look terrible. I look tired. Guess what? You probably are tired, because many of us are. And then what do? So I just put my hair in a ponytail. I wash my face or splash water. And then for me personally, I put cream, I put oil on my face. I put some of the tinted balm. I look so much better. Then I'm like, all right, I'll fill in my brows. So that gives me more strength, because my brows in my 60s have kind of, disappeared. And then I'm going to add some black mascara, and maybe I'll put a gloss on my lips. And that's like enough. So every second when I look in the mirror during the day, I'm like, all right, I look okay.
Yep. Does it bother you that someone else owns your name? I always think it's so interesting that your name is running around out there and somebody else is concocting it and controlling it. Like, how do you feel about that in creating a new brand? Or do you wish that Bobbi Brown Cosmetics wasn't eponymous?
Well, you know what? I am so proud of what I created. It was, I was part of their corporation for 22 years, and my husband and I sold the brand after 4.5 years. And when I left, it was a little weird. I'm not going to lie, but when I realized how amazing, my history was with Bobbi Brown Cosmetics, I sold the name. And guess what? My husband and I were able to send 22 or 25 kids to college.
Yeah.
Like so I'm proud of it. And, definitely the biggest challenge is that people know that I'm no longer with the brand.
Yeah.
Because it's not the same brand that I created. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for them. I don't look at what they're doing. I have moved on. I am honestly, my days are really stressful, but really joyous. I love what I'm doing. I love this new direction. And guess what? I'm the boss again. I don't need anyone's approval.
Yeah.
And so I'm really thrilled and excited to be part of Jones Road. And it's, kind of hit a nerve, and I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talk a lot about work, and, you seem to me to be so creative just by the nature of what you do. You've had incredible success. You also seem so entrepreneurial, and like someone who's always fixing or building or experimenting with things. Like, how did you balance being in a big corporation and having that ethos and kind of DNA? How did you balance that? What would your advice be to people who do feel entrepreneurial but exist in a big company?
It's not easy. It's tough. I mean, when I had, major support from the top, it was no problem. When there was not major support from the top, it was a challenge. And I'm not going to lie. And by the time I left, I was done fighting, for what I wanted. But, I teach people, I stayed for so long because I really do believe, naively, that I could fix anything. That's the entrepreneurial spirit. I watched my Papa Sam, who came from Russia, build, his businesses, and, one fell apart. I saw him rebuild it and shift and do different things. And that's kind of how my mindset is. So we're opening a store in Montclair, New Jersey in, the month of October. And by the way, I don't have people that merchandise. I don't have marketing teams. I have me and a bunch of people. We went to CB2 and Crate and Barrel and Home Goods, and about all these cool things that we're going to merchandise the store. It's so much fun. It looks so great. And you know what? It's easy to do. And we did it in 2 weeks. Actually, 2 days, but
that's amazing. And you did it yourselves. Like, I think that's also, I feel like that here at our company where, there's so many rules about how you should do something or a certain way things should be done or a stature. And you know what? Sometimes going to Home Goods and CB2 and pulling stuff off the shelves and making your own concoction from it or your own environment from it is the most rewarding thing. I think that's true in makeup, and it's also true at work.
And by the way, not just work, it's in your life too. I mean, while I had this career, I also lived in, the suburbs of, New Jersey, raising 3 children. I had 2 different lives. I had to figure out how to make work. So I had to be an entrepreneur for my life. I mean, I remember one day when I was running out to get gifts for my son going to a birthday party on a Saturday morning, I said, this is really dumb. Why don't I just go to the bookstore, support our local bookstore, get gift certificates of $5 and $10, keep them in my drawer. And whenever they go to a birthday, I just decide if I want to give $5 or $20 or,
Yep.
And that was like, that's an entrepreneurial thought.
Mindset.
I did the same thing with dinner, by the way. I'm not like a phenomenal cook, but I had to feed everyone. So I figured out how to take a cooked organic chicken, tear the meat off, take a vegetable and a pasta and mix it together. I'm like, all right, there's dinner, everybody.
Yeah, right. Like, this is our fun. What else you got, Bobbi? I'm like drinking this in. This is amazing. It's like Bobbi Brown's secrets to life. I love it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you know what? It's just the way I think. I get up early in the morning and I write things down. And by the way, I'm not perfect. I am, someone who gets either ADD, self-diagnosed, to anxious when I have too much going on. So my biggest goal is to figure out how to calm myself down without medication and just learn to breathe and take a moment. So, I hate saying meditation because I feel like a failure, but just breathing and like kind of walking away mentally from what I'm struggling with has been really, really helpful. And, it's like, look, life is not easy and life is a challenge for all of us. You have to figure it out. I'm married 33 years. By the way, I have to be an entrepreneur of that too.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about being an entrepreneur of your own life, like when do you go for systems and when do you go for mixing it up and being creative?
Well, I always want systems, and I've been striving for perfection in the system world my entire life. So I'm doing it again. But I also realize sometimes those systems, when they're followed, they get diluted and they kind of get boring. So you have to always like check your systems. So I think it's really fun. But Friday, I am coming into my office with 1 or 2 people and literally tearing it apart and getting rid of stuff that I don't want anymore. And we're going to have a swap in the office, and what's ever left, we're going to donate to a local charity. So I'm excited about that. I'm more excited about that than, doing something more exciting.
Yeah, that's right. That's incredible. And it sounds like charity has been such a big part of just how you do things. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, right now, I live in Montclair, New Jersey. There's an organization that I helped start called ROM. It's called Reaching Out Montclair. And it really just helps the underserved in our town. And, think about it, all the sports equipment my kids used to have, all the bikes, I don't want them anymore. I don't know what to do with them. But if I give them to people that need them, they shine them up, they put a bow on it, and their kids have a bike and their kids could take soccer and all those things. So I've always thought like that. And, I'm someone that doesn't like to be part of a big, giant world corporation, give back. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to be part of the lives of people that we're helping.
Yep, absolutely. What is your advice? So you're in your 60s. What's your advice to women who, and actually all types of people, not just women, who are on their way up, who are trying to figure out who they are, or what their system might look like, or to have the confidence to be entrepreneurial? Like, what's your advice to someone who's going against an industry standard?
Well, first of all, I really believe everyone has to be practical. You have to know like your finances. I'm not telling people quit your job, you'll find what you're looking for. you've got to make a decision how to make this work, because you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your mortgage, you have to do those kind of things. So figure it out, whatever it may be. Just, you have to like rethink. Maybe you need if you want to quit your job, maybe you need a smaller apartment, maybe you need a roommate. Just like figure that out. So that's the first thing. And then, if you don't take care of yourself from the inside out, you're not going to have the right mindset. And I find a lot of people in their 50s, 60s, even 40s that haven't exercised, that haven't, found healthier eating habits, they don't feel good. And it's not just in your body. Sometimes it makes you like cranky. Mm-hmm. And so if you take care of yourself and feel better, and I'm not saying be a health nut, go on a diet, but I walk and I move my body because it clears the cobwebs out of my head. And I also use the phone to call people that I haven't talked to in a while and have a little more calmness in my life. That helps me. Everyone's different. Yep. Some people get up at 5 a.m. to exercise. Yep. I can't exercise before 8 o'clock.
Yep.
So, I can walk in the 7s, but usually that's my coffee time.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I have these like grand visions of waking up early. I set the alarm and then I'm like, oh, I can't do it. And so
what time?
I have a dream wake up at 6:15 a.m. Not happening.
That's easy. For me, 6:15 is easy.
Oh, really? What time do you go to bed?
Well, I'm much more of a morning person. Okay. So I won't talk on the phone after 9 o'clock at night. Yep. And I am, watching some TV or sitting on my Instagram or doing something. I don't think I make it to 10:30.
Yeah. That's not bad though. 10:30. What time do you wake up? 6?
I wake up sometimes I wake up in the 5s because my husband doesn't require a lot of sleep and we have 2 dogs. Today I woke up at 6:45 and I have to tell you, it was too late for me.
Yeah. Were you like, what's happening? I'm behind.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I didn't get as much done as I wanted. And so what I missed today was my exercise. I had to let it go because I also had a lot of things I had to do to prepare for the weekend.
Yep.
So, you got to work it out. There's nothing balanced, by the way. You just got to try to balance it the best you can.
Yep. I think most successful people have a lot of anxiety. I find I'm similar to how you describe it, which is I'm always seeking to be calmer, but inside I've got 1,000 things running. On a morning like you're describing today, where you wake up a half hour late, I spend my day feeling a half hour behind, like I'm breathlessly trying to get time back that I can't. How do you, as someone who's done it all, like how do you handle that?
Cut out what you miss. All right, I didn't get to my 45-minute walk. Gone. All right. Well, so I got to work the time I was supposed to. I got here like a minute before my 9:30 phone call. I did it. And then I had a 10 o'clock meeting and then I had a 10:30 and then 11. So I'm on schedule now for my day. Cause
you bought it back.
You and I yes. And also today I know that I have a 3 o'clock hair appointment, which I don't usually do on a day that I have a full work thing, but it was the only time I can get. And I'm like, all right, I'll be able to sit there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And do all my emails. So I think about the day.
Yep. You've had this storied career and it's in a creative, I would say highly volatile industry. Like I'm interested in your perspective on the beauty industry overall. I see it as very corporate and cutthroat in some ways. I don't know. And then you look at, you go into a department store and you see all the beauty counters and it's like so many smells and so many colors and, it's all these ladies trying to get you to do something. How do you see the beauty industry? And then how were you able to persevere in it in a way that I think was somewhat always counterculture to what the prevailing trend was?
Well, it's very funny because for whatever reason, like I don't try to be like everybody else because I don't really think it's working. Like I used to hate going into a department store before I was in the beauty business. And the lady behind the counter would say, honey, your skin is so dry. It's so sallow. It's, let me just tell you about these 10 products and buy these products. And by the way, your nose is too big. Let me, change it. Like I hated all that. And when I got into beauty, I realized that really there was nothing wrong with my skin and my nose, especially if I know how to use some, lotions and creams, I could make myself look better. And when I started my company 30 something years ago, I started with a lipstick that looked like lips. I started with a range of 10. And it was just the way women needed lipstick to look natural, and everyone has different color lips. So for me, everything is practical thinking, problem solution. And that's who I am as a person. And so when I'd sit in these meetings and listen to these brilliant marketing people or brand people would come in, and I'd listen to these like people talk about this stuff. And I'm like, I just say to myself, you guys are missing the boat. That's what you sound like you could be in any company. It's not like, I don't look for a point of difference. I just happen to have one.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great way to put it. And you're authentic to it. Like, it's like you can't manufacture something that doesn't exist. Like, I hate the marketing buzzword bingo. It's like, look younger.
And by the way, the authenticity to me, which is now a trend, which I think
annoying.
is the funniest thing. It's like, I don't feel comfortable unless I am being myself. But that took me years to figure out. I used to dress corporately. I used to uncomfortable outfits, and I was just not happy. And I finally realized, I started wearing dark blue jeans where nobody would notice that I was wearing blue jeans way before, it became a trend. I used to go to the Obama White House in blue jeans. I'd put a navy blazer on, a dark pair of blue jeans, and, no one would notice. And eventually I started putting sneakers on because my feet hurt. And, one day President Obama walked by me. He says, "Hey, nice kicks, B Brown." Or he called me B squared. He's like, "Nice kicks, B squared." And I'm like, I looked up in the sky. I'm like, Papa Sam, the president knows who I am.
Yeah. That's amazing. So what's next for Jones Road? Like, before we let you go, like, tell us what's next. What are you excited about? What's the next stick balm concoction I should be rubbing on myself?
So we're about to celebrate 1 year. And so I'm coming out with something called the Bobbi Kit, which is a curated, basically, bag that has 5 products in that you could sit in your car at a stoplight and 2 seconds do your makeup. And my colors they're not trendy. They're very much work on everybody. And what I'm really excited about is I've talked my product development team to pull ahead one powder blush, because I love I love blush, and this one pink blush that is so good that works on the darkest of skin and the palest of skin. So we're pulling that forward, and mostly I want to celebrate, and I'm not even sure how, the people that work for me, and B, the people that love Jones Road, because it's honestly, it's a dream come true for this crazy entrepreneur. I couldn't imagine not being in the beauty industry. I launched Jones Road the day my 25-year non-compete was up.
That's how long the non-compete was.
25 years. And I launched Jones Road against everyone's, suggestions a week before the presidential election, in the middle of the pandemic, the middle of Black Lives Matter and Me Too. I just turned the lights on, and I'm like, why not? And honestly, I think it was a welcome noise for people.
Yeah, there is something so fresh about it. Like, I would encourage anybody to go to the website. Like, I love the website. Whether it's hard to buy makeup on a website, but I think the vibe is very fresh and very simple. Like, and I think, if I'm taking anything away from you, it's just being practical can be beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been doing Instagram lives every week, and so they're in the IG stories. So if you want to even know how to use things, they're not produced. They're very much, turn on the camera and, but they're in there. So if you guys, want to see me doing things, like, I'm doing things simply now and not slick.
Yeah.
And that feels more authentic to me.
All right. So we're back after Bobbi Brown. We could talk to her all day. I could talk to her all day.
You need to come over here, Bobbi. Are you cool with that? You want to come over on this couch with us, Bobbi?
Bobbi Brown, I think, would probably love you, Tiko.
I think so. I think we would be cool.
Do you know what else? She wanted to do something nice for people who listen to this podcast, including you.
Oh, wow.
So beginning today, you can get 20% off any Jones Road Beauty product online. If you go to jonesroadbeauty.com, you say that?
jonesroadbeauty.com.
And enter the code CEO20, you'll get 20% off.
Live your best life. Kiss some Bobbi Brown in your life. Period. Be the best version of yourself.
Love it. It's available till November 19th.
Ooh, woo, 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 woo.
All right, last one.
Okay.
High Noon. Do you like High Noon?
I love high noons. Yeah,
Okay, I love a High Noon.
nooners. Yeah.
You seem to
What's
be a
up?
woman
Can we
who
get
will
one?
drink most anything
I
at
would-
any time.
That's pretty.
That's accurate.
That's
yeah, I
pretty
think
accurate.
I got a good. I've got a good pulse on you. I know what's up.
You see
see
the
Tiko.
younger you and me. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
That's what
right.
it is. That's
All
how
right.
you
The
know.
great thing about High Noon is it's real vodka, real juice, and a splash of sparkling water, so that you can get a little hydrated while you have it.
Oh, nice.
Tico likes the grapefruit. I like the peach.
Okay.
You can go to your liquor store and get High Noon today.
Ooh, get some high noon in your life, baby.
All right. So that was Bobbi Brown.
Okay, shout out
So
Bobbi Brown.
Bobbi Brown walks every day. You should try walking every day.
I do. I'm in New York City. I
Okay,
walk
so you just
every
walk
day.
everywhere.
Yeah,
So-
well, it's crazy.
Bobbi walks for 45 minutes every day. She finds
Okay.
it like gets her head in the right place.
Exactly.
It
Get the
reduces
adrenaline
anxiety.
pumping.
Yeah, you get it moving.
Creative juices.
Yep.
I agree.
So we talked to Dr. Wendy Suzuki. So we love Dr. Wendy Suzuki. Huge brain.
Oh, awesome.
But she wrote a book called Happy Brain, Happy Life, which is
Okay.
about how exercise can actually help your well-being. She started studying exercise's effect on the brain when she had a moment in her life when she realized that exercise could help her.
At the time, I wasn't studying exercise on the brain at all. I was studying how memory works in the brain, which was fascinating. And I was working so hard to get tenure at New York University, which is a 6-year process. And during that 6 years, I gained a big old 25 pounds and not feeling good. I cut myself off. I only worked. I ate a lot of takeout, which led to the weight gain. And I had a come to Jesus moment when I went on a river rafting trip by myself because I had no friends either because all I did was work.
All you did was work.
Yeah. And I felt like the weakest person on that whole trip. And I said, that was my wake up call. And I came home, went to the gym. I grew up in California. I knew that would help. I, took a lot of the carbs out of my regular diet. And a year and a half later, I lost the weight. I was feeling so good, so joyful. And I was sitting in my lab one day and I was writing a grant, which is something that I do often. And I was like, wow, that writing day was so good. Like it was flowing. I did really well. I'd never had that thought before because writing a grant is just not a fun or flowy kind of process. And I thought, wow, I wonder what's going on. And I came to the realization that this didn't just happen today. It was kind of getting better over time. The only thing that had changed in my life really was this weight loss with regular exercise, going from a couch potato to a gym rat over that last year and a half. And that became such a fascinating topic that I wanted to study it. And so that's how I got into the study
Incredible.
of exercise.
And what's your recommendation? So, for people who aren't yet at the come to Jesus moment of like,
Yeah.
holy shit, I'm the weakest person on the rafting trip. What is the level of exercise everyone needs?
Okay, so here's the minimum. This is what everybody wants to know. What is that minimum that I really
What's the
have to
least
do?
you have to do?
And the minimum that you have to do to get the mood effects, including decreasing your anxiety and stress levels, that's very important, is 10 minutes. Not 10 minutes of, Barry's boot camp where you have to roll the tires and all that stuff. 10 minutes of walking can do it. 10 minutes of, power walking or just regular walking can start to decrease those anxiety, depression levels. And, but the more, the merrier. So get that in. Everybody can do that. And as you build up, that is going to strengthen your brain and help your aging process and protect you from things like neurodegenerative disease. But the minimum, 10 minutes.
10 minutes. You can do 10 minutes.
Yes.
Dr. Wendy, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right, inside Barstool. This episode is never ending. All right, we are talking to White Sox Dave. So for anybody who doesn't pay attention to White Sox Dave, here's the deal. White Sox Dave is our White Sox blogger, a guy from Chicago. Do you know the White Sox?
I do. I don't
Baseball
like
team.
them.
Yeah,
exactly.
not for
you
you.
already know.
Baseball guys are real into baseball. So White Sox Dave got into a doot-de-doo, as Dave would say, Dave Portnoy would say.
With John Cusack.
With John
right?
Cusack.
I saw
So
the video.
They're fighting with one another about if John Cusack can actually be a White Sox fan because
And a
he
Cubs
and
fan.
a Cubs fan, and if he's just a fair weather fan, which White Sox Dave vehemently believes that he is. This thing has blown up on Twitter.
Yes.
It's all anybody here is talking about, and
Yes.
we hear straight from White Sox Dave. Describe what has been happening on the internet in the last 72 hours.
So when we were in line to get into the stadium, I ran into John Cusack, who I have called out for in the past for being a kind of an opportunist of a fan. He's always seen at both Cubs and White Sox games at the biggest games, but he'll always be sitting next to a celebrity. Like Eddie Vedder with the Cubs, he's always seen next to him. And but over the last 5 years, when the White Sox were winning like 0 games a year, you never saw him even sniff Sox Park. And, like I personally was gutting out those 40-degree April games when they were losing by 8 runs to the Detroit Tigers, and there was just nobody, no name after no name on the field. So it like, I don't care in the end, like he can do what he wants, but at the same time, it kind of bugs me that he's doing all these, media interviews and like, oh, he's such a diehard fan. That's not the case. Like, get out of my face that you're here during the bad times, but you have no problem, showing your face during the good times. And as someone who all I care about is this team, that kind of rubs me the wrong way.
And also, don't you think like it's kind of like New York, like in the rules of sports, you can't be Yankees and Mets. It just like it's burritos and pizza, apples and oranges.
Yeah, I'm trying to word this carefully. I am not I'm not the king of White Sox fans. I'm not going to gatekeep. You can go do whatever you want with your money. But at the same time, it is so I think it's the lamest thing on earth. If you have a city with 2 teams to only root for each team when it's good. And it just so happens like the life cycle of both teams, they're never good at the same time and they're never bad at the same time.
Okay, so you're not the arbiter of being a White Sox fan. That's good to know. Before we get to John Cusack, explain the White Sox Dave band list.
Basically just a Rolodex of people that were either opportunist fans or gave up on the team like well before they became good again. Like said, I'm done with the White Sox. It's like, all right, well, I know they're going to be good in 2 years. You're not allowed to root for them because you said you're done with them. Like I'm keeping
tabs.
I'm keeping tabs. But in the end, it's all a joke. It's all a joke. And that's what I want to do. So I walked up to him and he knows about the ban list because fans call him out for being on the ban list. And he's always been funny about it. He's like, there was one video where he's like, fuck you guys. And he was like laughing about it, leaning into it. And that's the kind of reaction I thought I was going to get from him. I thought he was going to bust balls back, but he immediately just started squaring me up. And he was doing the like chest finger pointing thing. And it threw me off because I was genuinely thinking he was going to give like a funny reaction. We'd take a picture and that'd be it. We'd go our separate ways and never talk to each other again. But when he started throwing out like the most random name drops of all time, like Mike Squires was a backup infielder well before I was born. I know who he is, but it's not like.
So he challenged you to like White Sox knowledge and then was like, you're an idiot because you don't know anything about the White Sox. But you're like, I'm rattled because this guy's threatening, this 7-foot guy is like chest bumping me. Is that basically what you're saying?
Kind of, but the name he had was so obscure and random that that he was waiting for someone to call him out so he could
throw so he like premeditated.
1000% premeditated.
All right. Well, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I'm not gonna wish you luck. But I appreciate what you've been through. I think you've completely owned the moment. All right, and where do people follow you?
At Barstool Chicago, at Redline Radio. Those are our 2 biggest brands, and then the Dog Walk, of course. And then at Barstool WSD on Twitter and at White Sox Dave on Instagram.
All right, that's today's episode.
Thank you so much, Erika, for having me on this channel with you. My name is Tiko Texas. You can follow me at Tiko Texas on everything. I do music. If you want to listen to my music, it's on all streaming sites. Follow the Tiko 10. My podcast will be coming soon. I love Erika. She's such a boss woman. I'm so happy to be on your podcast with you. I had a lot of fun.
Love you, Tiko. You're the best. Thanks for listening.